AOC recently had a Instagram video.
Nip slip.
No. I'm sure a lot of people would be happy though. But so she first tweeted out because of the Wall Street thing, something about, we got to deal with this. And Ted Cruz replied saying, I agree to this. And then she tweeted back saying, you tried to have me murdered. I can't work with you. You should resign. Blah, blah, blah. I'm paraphrasing.
What the
It's not
hell?
literally, that's
Are
not
you
literally
serious?
Look it up
She
for
did
you.
say she did say Ted Cruz tried to have her murdered.
Yeah, she did say that. Like AOC tweet to Ted Cruz. Let me see if it's.
You tried to have me murdered.
No, yeah, it was. Yeah, here we go. I am happy to work with Republicans on this issue where there's common ground, but you almost had me murdered 3 weeks ago, so you can sit this one out. Happy to work with almost any other GOP that aren't trying to get me killed. In the meantime, if you want to help, you can resign. So back to that's why I want to bring it back to the whole unity thing. Like, how is this unity?
That's her, dude.
I know it's her, but she's a prominent voice right now on the Democratic Party. She has how many? I don't want to go to Twitter and find out, but she has millions of followers. People love AOC, especially in our generation. But she, in my opinion, is the biggest proponent of disunity in our politics.
People love Ted Cruz also.
My question is, isn't there people like this on both sides?
And I don't like it either.
Yeah, because honestly, dude,
I'm just pointing out because there's more to it. I'm just starting with the tweet.
No, I'm not defending her. I'm just saying, I'm literally asking, is your point that all of these politicians again are? So, like I said,
yes.
Okay, cool.
I want.
Okay, cool.
I want with Republican Party, Democratic Party,
all
the Democratic Socialists, the whatever on the right side, the whatever party they have. I want them all gone. Dude, I want fresh new blood, and I want term limits. But not AOC type blood. She's crazy.
There's a massacre at Congress.
What?
We might actually reach a point where there's a massacre at Congress.
I think they tried that. A few weeks ago.
Not for real.
Yeah, again, back to what I said, not for real, no.
If this, I ain't gonna lie, if this Robin Hood thing happened before that.
Yeah, the Robin Hood thing unites the left and the right.
I'm telling you, because that's the problem.
Yes.
And if they're both, like for example, if they both feel like their votes just, what? Has nothing to, it's the second this becomes a class war, oh my God. Oh my God. And that's what they're trying to hide it by using race.
My thing is that Ted Cruz, man, he's a coward, man. Like, you saw how fast he threw Trump under the bus.
Under the bus, yes.
And there are people that
bothered
love
the
him.
fuck out of me.
There are people that I don't even care that, he honestly, like, I've through this whole political process in this previous election, I've actually discovered that I have some conservative tendencies, whereas before I thought I was, pretty liberal, and now I'm just like, I actually agree with a lot of conservative values and stuff because I never had to stop and look at them. And so I've learned a lot about myself through the election, and as him being my senator, I'm just like, dude, not him. Like, I don't care if there's a Republican senator, but I do not like him. Because I do not want a coward.
He's a politician,
as my senator, dude.
Bro, I can't stand politicians. They say what they need to say to stay in the seat that they sit in.
Well, okay,
it's scummy. That's why I don't believe in career politicians. A political position representative should not be a career.
So
it incites the wrong motivations.
Have you seen the interview with that woman that ran for the Democratic president? She was a presidential candidate. I can't remember her name.
The libertarian one? No, you're not talking about that. You said Democrat. I don't remember.
She came out on Joe Rogan recently, and I remember you sent me an image where you were.
Oh, you're talking about Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah. Okay, Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah. So she came out on Joe Rogan.
I like Tulsi Gabbard.
She said that
I'm growing to like her more and more.
She said that all of government is basically high school. Like, everyone's in their cliques, everyone's throwing shade, and everyone's having to deal with it. And essentially, what we did within the past year was just vote Biden to be the president or the principal of the school. And so now we're seeing how it's going to go down from here on out. But, like, after she explained that and just kind of, she told me what I already knew, it makes me understand these people a lot more. And so that's why these personalities are this way. And so when I see them kind of doing this now, I'm just like, ugh, like, why would I want this job? Like,
yes.
Anybody who was in that Stop GameStop group chat doesn't need to be able to hold a political position.
So I guess to continue, the reason why I brought up AOC, where I first started the tweet where this came from, she then went on an Instagram live video and tried to explain herself some more. saying how scared she was for her life because everything was going on. She was locked in. I don't know if it was her office or a office.
I thought she was from the Bronx.
How she was locked in that office, scared for her life. How she heard someone outside saying, "Where is she? Where is she?" Then it ended up coming out that it was actually the Capitol officer trying to, find her so that he could, I guess, guard her, protect her, escort her somewhere else. I don't know, but. And then she goes on and then reveals how she's actually a victim of sexual assault.
Oh.
I don't know if that's true. It could be. I don't want to talk about that specifically. My only question, I guess, to y'all, and this might be, I don't know if this is wrong of me to ask, but is it how do I phrase this?
The timing? Strategic? Do you want to use the word strategic? I'll give you that word to use.
It's strategic. Yeah, no, I'm okay with strategic because it feels weird to me that it seems like she's trying to, let's say first off, let's just assume that she's telling a lie, like not telling the truth, I'm sorry, telling the truth, that she was a victim of sexual assault, no matter the degree of it she is. Mm-hmm. Isn't it kind of strategic and weird how she's trying to use it to back up her stance on...
Just say strategic.
Okay. I don't know how to phrase this to where strategic. I can ask a question, but it seems strategic that she's revealing this information while she's complaining about the Capitol Hill thing and her fearing for her life.
It seems strategic that she's revealing this information while she's receiving backlash.
Yeah. That's my issue. So that's why, I don't know. It's just...
For example, when anybody gets caught doing anything and then all of a sudden the mental illness is revealed. When somebody gets caught cheating and then they go to a psychiatrist and then they
victim
get
culture.
The diagnosis or the mental disorder or whatever they're clinging to never needs to be
said or brought up or
before.
Yeah. Until
now. As soon as something happens that backlash is warranted, they're like, "Oh no. I don't deserve the backlash because of this. I also don't deserve to learn from this because of this." So, oh no, I don't like when anybody excuses anything or they preface anything with, "Yeah, I understand this is bad, but blank, 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 blank." I don't care for any of that.
They try to use an apple. That's a horrible metaphor, but they try to use something else to excuse this.
Exactly, and I'm just not with that.
I just thought it was weird, personally.
Now the sexual assault is meant to amplify the trauma she was going through when that happened because she has PTSD from it. Mm-hmm. Therefore, the fear she felt was very real. That fear being real and her being able to amplify that fear, even though I don't know the exact math, there's no real math, but the bullshit math behind it. When you amplify that fear up a little bit more, right? Now, she gets to react to Ted Cruz like that because her fear is
from a real place.
It's from a real place, and it's
her truth.
But it's been another word for like confirmed, like it's been
justified,
solidified. Yeah, okay. It's been solidified as
reaffirmed.
Yeah, there you go. It's been reaffirmed something that's real. Like she's brought the people to a place where this is now acceptable emotionally by saying that. Whether it's true or not, whether it has nothing, whether the timing was strategic or not, that's the journey that happens.
And I guess the reason why I brought this up, my point, the reason why I brought this up and tried to struggle as we did to work through this, I don't know if it's a point or a question, but it seems like to me politics has turned from an appeal to our rational, logical minds and more of an appeal to our empathy and emotional mind sides or whatever.
I agree.
So my rebuttal to that, Gene, is that it's always been that. And
they're not sure. I've just been ignorant the whole time.
I mean, honestly, I have. I've been just as ignorant, man. I'll be in there with you, but I think that's just how it's always been, man. And I've never paid this much attention.
Fair.
I agree with Doc, but I agree with you more. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like it's always been emotional, but to what extent? So, that's why I agree with Doc. But I agree with you.
Obviously, you got to build that ambition and all that stuff.
But I agree with you now because when logic leaves, all you have is emotion. And right now, what's going on is people are understanding that these things, these constructs, do not make sense. Them being in these constructs and not benefiting does not make sense. And so they're reacting emotionally. So the only way you can get them back to a logical place is by appealing to them emotionally.
Really? You think so? I feel like that's backwards.
Believe it how you want. So, for example, if I'm coming to you for advice, right? That means I'm coming to you logically, trying to seek some type of conclusion or help with an issue. Okay?
Solution with an issue. Yep.
Right? I'm more receptive to you saying, hey, you handled this wrong. Maybe you should do it this way. Da, da, da.
I'd hope you would be.
But if I come to you to vent,
okay, difference. Yep.
and you telling me, oh, you handled this wrong, I'm not asking you
for your advice. I just want to talk. Yeah.
And so the best thing for you to do is listen.
But I feel like that's a bad metaphor for political figures because their whole job technically is to bring
I'm not saying they're doing
solutions.
the right thing. I'm saying that's
I know. That's what they're doing.
I'm not saying it's right morally. I'm saying that's just what's
going on.
What's going on is because people are emotional. When people are rioting and looting and
storming
Capitol buildings, it's an emotion.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I feel your pain. Now, when you can say, I feel your pain or show some type of empathy, which is an emotion, then I'm more receptive to listen to you now. But if you don't understand where I'm coming from, I'm not trying to listen to you talk to me about anything. So the goal is to appeal emotionally now. Whereas when the society isn't full of civil unrest, you can appeal to more logical minds.
How do we... But then I point back to your point you've always made, which is us always overcorrecting.
Yes.
How do we do that if we're constantly overcorrecting? For example, we overcorrected, got Trump, overcorrected, now we got Biden.
They're not worried, but see, their motivation, the people who are doing the overcorrection, they're not worried about the conclusions or the repercussions of the people or how it actually affects society.
Misplaced then.
They're actually only worried about the control. So if we can, as long as you're listening to me, if you're out there amongst yourselves having problems, I do not care. As long as you're listening to me, the government, the Congress, the politician. So it's not that they care about, calming you down so they can get you to a place of peace and da-da-da. They're just calming you down so you're back under control. That's all they need.
And I agree with that, which is, I guess, why for me specifically, any kind of appeal to my emotions instantly pisses me off. I don't like it.
You're trying to control me.
Exactly. I feel exactly how I feel. I feel like you're trying to manipulate me. Otherwise, you would try to appeal to my rational mind instead of my emotional.
Because it would make sense. Because what you're telling me would make sense. You wouldn't need to appeal to my emotions if it made sense.
Because you're trying to disarm me, as it feels like. You want me to go for it, Doc.
Let me throw a wrench in that logic. What if the person isn't able to explain themselves? Like, what if they're not eloquent and they can't explain what they're doing, so they have to show you something emotional?
So that's fine. I don't want to hinder people to express, but I'm specifically talking about.
What do you mean?
Name the example. Name an example of showing somebody something emotional.
I mean, you can take like something really intense visually, like let's take current events. So the BLM movement, if they don't know how to explain their issue, like they can just show you the video of George Floyd and expect you to have an emotional response. And so like it's kind of Gene is right to an extent to be guarded in that situation because they might coerce you into doing something really, really stupid. But sometimes like that is the only way they know how to show you something or explain something to you.
But
I actually kind of feel like the other way around. It's funny because when people start appealing to like ultra logic and they're like, let me break it down, let me show you why with all of the utmost elegance and eloquence that I have, like of this entire legalese paper, and just read that, and I'm like, oh, dude, I don't want to have to read the 3 pages of your freaking bullcrap statements just so that I can be like, oh yeah, like you're right, like you're calm-minded and I like it. And it's like, so to me, I have the opposite reaction. And usually when people shows me something real, they're like, no, dude, look at this burnt down forest. This is what they did. Usually that's when I'm like, all right, I'm on board.
But to your wrench, right? I think you just agreed with us though, because if the BLM movement is showing you a video and not capable of speaking, they're trying to appeal to your emotions. And that emotion, if they're trying to appeal to your emotions, they're trying to control you to get to a place that you can empathize with them. And that's what I'm talking about. So whoever is showing
And they
that,
continue exactly.
whoever's doing that is trying to, whether it's negative or positive, there's some type
Let me piggyback off that when
go
you're done.
for it.
Oh, then to piggyback off that, and we saw what happened when they appealed to the emotions. You had an actual issue that Black Lives Matters was trying to advocate for, and that was police reform. You know, there's a discrepancy when it comes to policing, and we need reform. Then because they appealed to the emotions, you had an overt emotional reaction, which was rioting, looting, and vandalizing.
But you can get the same experience with somebody who's hyper logical. Like the Red Robin situation is the opposite, where the logic is there and they're not doing anything illegal. They're just stealing